Hello everyone, welcome to my very first video of 2023, and I just want to say sorry I haven't made a video in a very long time. I've been very busy and I've sadly also been pretty sick as well. Though I'm going to make this video for you despite I'm actually still sick. So I'm going to do a tier list, but by using PowerPoint because PowerPoint doesn't really have much cool train stuff. I will be doing a tier list of the Gresley locomotives, and I just want to let you all know it's just my opinion, okay? If you disagree, it's fine. You don't have to agree with me. Alright, let's start with Gresley's first design, this one. They were called the J22s by the Great Northern Railway when they were built in 1911. This was Gresley's first design, and by the LNER they were named as the J6. But they also did have a nickname. That was their nickname was the Knick-Knack. Yeah, we had a lot of funny names for our locomotives, and they did pretty well. They worked from 1955 to 1962 when they were all withdrawn, and sadly none have been preserved today. So how would I rate this engine? Well, it was Gresley's first, and it did do pretty well in service. I'll give it a B. A B is fine. Alright, next is an H3 or H4, also known as a K1 or a K3, I think, by the LNER. A lot of these engines were built. They were built between 1912 to 1921, and 10 of them had been rebuilt. And they also worked the same amount of time as the Knick-Knacks. Though I forgot their I actually forgot their nicknames. Let's all have a journey and check on Wikipedia. Yes, Wikipedia. Oh, it's the H2. Yeah, the H2. Their nickname was the Rang Timers. Yeah, the Rang Timers. Okay, let's all remember that, the Rang Timers. So what do I think about these engines? I'd have to give them the same, probably, a B? I don't really know. And again, none of these survived to preservation. I'll put it in B. A respectful B. How about that? Anyone offended? And just to give you all a warning, sadly I have to put this in parts. Okay, so the next design we're going to show is the J21, also known as the J2, which is this engine. I don't know much about this engine. I know nothing about this engine. I should have done more heavy research, but again, they were probably the same as as the Knick-Knacks. So I'll put it in C. I'll put it at C. Now there's these engines. Also, these engines are known as a 01, or later by the LNER as a 03. And they were known as the Tangos. I know, funny names. And sadly, despite these were younger and more powerful, they outlasted these two engines, which I found funny. Though I do feel bad for them, and they must have been good. And I do like the design of it. Sadly, none of them was saved. They were all withdrawn before British Railways, so I'll put it in A, because it was the first 280 of the LNER. I mean the Great Northern. Next is these engines. They're also a 280, and they're known as a Jazzer. And I actually like that nickname, the Jazzer. So they worked between, I think the last one was withdrawn in 1961, and the last, actually no, I think the last, they were probably withdrawn in the first one. Yeah, the worst ones were in the 50s, and they were powerful engines. They were, but I'm gonna put it in B. Alright, next, let's go to this one. J50 tank engine. What do I have to say about them? Well, they were first built in 1913, and the last one was built in 1939. And sure, they weren't probably the most built Gresley locomotives, but again, they were probably his most longest produced engines. Sadly, none of them have been preserved, all of them being withdrawn between the 50s, and last one probably being withdrawn in 1964 or 65, I think it was. And they worked pretty well. And there was actually a new build being built, but sadly that it was cancelled. So I'm putting this tank engine in a respectful A. Alright, the N2. The N2 is a good tank engine. Good performing. Very good with commuter services. And it's actually Gresley's oldest surviving designs. It's one of them, number 1744, is preserved in its beautiful Great Northern Railway livery. So, but I'm not really that interested in the engines. But again, I'm giving them some credit for being the oldest Gresley engine survived today, and they are good performers. They were withdrawn in, I think the first one was withdrawn in 1955, and the last one being withdrawn in 1961. But luckily, you know, I just mentioned, we've got one preserved. I'll put them at a B. Alright. Gresley's A1s. What do I have to say about them? They're great. They were the first successful Pacifics in Britain. They're iconic. They were Gresley's most famous designs, along with the A4s. So, how would I put them? It's not the best, in my opinion, obviously, but I'm putting it in A. It's respectful A, actually. Alright, next we have this engine. Okay, I'm back. My sister had to call me because my mom got us lunch. So we're now on the O2s. So they were built in 1919. And I think the last one was actually built in 1943. And sure, the first one was withdrawn in 1948, but it was probably in a crash. And they were classified as ATEFs, so they are powerful engines. I'm gonna put it in A. So if you guys think I was being biased, this is the bit where we no longer get the P2s. I like the design. It's basically just, it looks like a flight. It looks like an A1. But with a different bill arrangement. But they are garbage. Like, the only two of them were built in 1925. They could only work on one route, and when they were given superheaters, they were later taken off because that ruined their performance. And then they were withdrawn by Thomson in 1945, only working 20 years in service, both of the P2s, P1s. So what do I think about them? Like, if you think you like them, it's fine, it's your opinion, but not for me. This is trash. And it doesn't get better. The U1 Garrett. Okay, it's not entirely bad, it was a good banker, but again, when they went into tunnels, all the smoke and stuff would kill them. And it was withdrawn in 1955, but it did make it to be our service. But I'm giving it a D. And I'm going to end it from here, but part 2 will be coming soon. So see you guys very soon, and let me know what you think of it so far before part 2. Bye!